Hey guys, we wanted to take some time, Chase and I did, and give you a little bit of just some training and some background on how to talk about next steps during your service. This is something we sat down with Gabe a couple of days ago, and we just said, what are we doing for each step, and how are we talking about that? Because I feel like at times in our services, everybody does their best, but we haven't really sat down and said, here's what we're trying to achieve, and here's what we're trying to communicate. So as a team, we sat down with all of the next steps coaches, talked through each step, language around that. How do we keep this concise? How do we say this quickly, but yet impacting, so that people that are new to our church step into next steps and can take the next steps in their journey and in their relationship with God and with the church. And so Jason and I are going to be going through a few things and giving you some context. Gabe was going to be here today to be a part of this training, but she was a little bit sick. So we're praying for her during the season to get better quickly. And she'll be jumping in later to give you some insight from her perspective and some coaching from her as well. So,
and I think it was important that one of the things that we talked about in the conversation was to clearly identify that Next Steps is more for our congregation, more for new people than it is for us. And I don't think that we've done the best job possible at communicating how awesome Next Steps is, because it kind of sounds like if you go through Next Steps, it benefits us. Well, really, it's for somebody that's going through that, to help them move closer in their walk with Christ and to grow them. And so that's kind of why we're also identifying that language, is so people know it's more for them than it is for us.
Yeah, that was a foundational principle. That one of the key things we've said is, even we've picked it up kind of as a key phrase for our church, whether it's offering, whether it's, what we're asking you to do is not for us. Because as a church, we want something for you, not from you. And we have flipped that script a little bit when we talk about next steps, that this is the way you get to know us. We're getting to know them. This is something you can do for us. This is, get on a team. It all kind of has a selfish undertone if you really dig deep. And so we want to switch that to where this is something we're doing for you to help improve your life. Another thing that we did is, a lot of times we feel the pressure to explain, and we get caught in the weeds of explaining, well, this is step 1, there's 4 steps, or today's step 3, but hey, we don't worry about, if you miss step 1 and step 2, then you can pick it up. We get caught in the weeds and get muddled. So while we're going to maintain 4 steps in our announcements during the service, we're not going to talk about this is step 1, this is step 2, this is step 3. One of the key things that you'll find that's consistent, because remember, we're talking to new people. We're not talking to church members or church family that have been here for 20 years and know us and are plugged in. We're talking to people that have been here less than a month. So we're going to have some of the same foundational language each week that quickly communicates and gets us, this is what we're doing, this is who this is directed to, this is what we're needing you to do. And so one of those is, Next Steps is our way of helping you move forward. That's the simple statement about Next Steps, that this is our way of helping you move forward in your journey with God, with community, with discovering who you are, and with finding, and we framed all of that in a way that's beneficial for you, the new person, the new family, the single dad, the blended family, whatever. This is our way of helping you move forward. That's what Next Steps is. It's a process of moving people into a connected worship experience, into community, into serving, and all of that benefits them. Yes, there's some residual benefit that we get as a church, that we get Grow Team members, but ultimately, this is our way of moving people into our ecosystem and getting them mature. So that's a key foundational thing. Anything else?
No, I think that's kind of, you say key foundational thing, but that's one of those things that we want communicated anytime we talk about Next Steps, is that Next Steps is our way of helping you move forward. So when people ask, hey, what is Next Steps? You have that foundational principle of, it's our way of helping you move forward in your walk with Christ, into community, onto a team. All of the details come, but that opening statement is
Yeah.
I don't say non-negotiable, but it is one of those key foundational principles that we do want communicated.
As we lay this out, we are wanting you and the people that do transition, do announcements, to stick pretty close to this language, and not embellish much, because it's the embellishment a lot of times, or it's the expounding or trying to. If you can stay pretty concise, I mean, you don't have to, verbatim say this word for word, but we would like for you to get pretty close. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through each step and talk about and kind of give you a context, kind of do a mock announcement, and talk. And you'll see how each step's communicated a little differently. So it'll give it some freshness each week, but yet there'll be still kind of that foundational, here's what we say, and here's what we say it in. So
I think it is going to help keep it fresh every week. And because right now, even, I'd communicate a lot in transitions from Sherman. It has that feel of, hey, everything's awesome. But we all know that if everything's awesome, nothing can be awesome. And so keeping the language fresh with Next Steps is going to keep people intrigued into what it actually is. And it's not going to be the same spiel every single week about how awesome and great we are. You should come check us out. The way that we're formulating this language is going to reveal our authenticity, because we are
yeah,
we're authentic in what
yeah.
we are trying to do,
Yeah.
but it's not coming out that way in our communication. And this will help us communicate that better.
Absolutely. So again, this is our way of helping you move forward. So this is mine and Chase's way of helping you move forward in your campus with this training video. Talking about Next Steps the right way is your way of helping your guests move forward in their relationship with God, and their getting connected to community, and them discovering who they are, and joining a team that's going to benefit them. So we're gonna go into each step, and we're gonna do a couple of examples because we've got campuses that do it different ways. We've got some that do it. It's an immediate step that, hey, we're announcing this, and like right now you can go to Next Steps. We've got some that, hey, tonight, Sunday at 5 o'clock, we're going to meet at Joe Bob's house and, hang out. We've got some that it's after service. So we're going to give you some examples, and that will be really where local context comes in. You finding a way to communicate. And listen, we don't need to necessarily give all the details. We want to inspire them to the point to where they want to go find the details. So if, we don't have to tell them exactly what room number and it's at, this specific time from the stage. We just need them to know this is something they want to be a part of, and we need to tell them where they can get the information, whether it's a Connect Center in the foyer, whether it's, hey, Susie will be in the foyer. She's got a bright red Next Steps t-shirt on. Connect with her, whether it's fill out a Connect card and we'll call you Monday with the details, whatever it is. We want to keep this, because remember, our entire transition, announcements, offering, all of guest welcome, all of that stuff happens in about 6 to 8 minutes. So you don't have a lot of time to communicate Next Steps. So you've got to be quick, you've got to be powerful, and so we hope and we believe now this we can get feedback from you in the future, and this can continually be tweaked if there's some things that we need to adjust. But hey, you can say, hey, we've said this from the stage and it really works well. We'll maybe work that in. So there's feedback, there's communication. This isn't working, this is working, this has been great, thank you, whatever. So we're going to jump in and do a couple of step 1, step 2, step 3, and step 4s for you, and hopefully that'll be a help. Cool. See ya in just a few seconds.